This, or do you not want me to
Yeah,
record it?
sure. Yeah, you can record this.
Okay. All right. So basically, what I understood your position to be, and you can of course clarify this, was just that it's the case that fetuses are themselves valuable, or they have some degree of value, and we have a responsibility to preserve their life and livelihood because of the fact that sex is itself some level of agreement to having children. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. I guess where I'm confused is one, as Aeroflame pointed out, why sex itself implies consent to pregnancy. I mean, two things. For one, people can have a lack of informed consent, right? So people make decisions that have certain consequences they don't always agree to. So, for instance, I'm sure at some point in your life as a kid, you made a decision that you did not understand the magnitude of. You probably put your hand on an oven burner, right?
yeah. I'm gonna approach this with like the Socratic method. Why does intention matter?
Why does intention matter? Because that's the metric of what consent is.
No, consenting. I mean, oh, okay. I mean, let's like read. Let's not redefine consent, right? Because consent is like a weird term. Let's say that you cause an action being done to you. Is that like a better evaluation?
Okay, so what you're saying is not so it's about consent, but it's more so just about the implications of your actions. So causal responsibility.
Accountability.
So by accountability, you mean that you are aware or recognizing of the fact that you were causally responsible for something, or that your actions produced a particular outcome, right?
Yeah, well, no, that's like what accountability is. I think I view it as just, partaking in a primate function
Uh-huh.
of an outcome.
Yeah, so if by accountability all you mean is that it's just a recognition of the fact that when you have sex, right, that produces a significant likelihood of you then therefore impregnating or becoming pregnant in the process. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So I'm willing to grant that I think you can be accountable and agree to that without then therefore saying that abortion is wrong. So I guess I want the argument for why that then therefore implies that abortion is morally incorrect.
Wait, hold up. What? It's like I don't understand what you're doing. You have to give me thought experiments or extrapolate from my logic. I don't understand what this is.
So you're pro life, right?
Yes.
And by that I take it that you mean that abortion or the act of abortion is morally wrong, yes?
Yes.
So when you use the premise of accountability in relation to sex, right? I'm willing to grant that, but I'm saying that is a non sequitur to the inference of abortion being morally wrong, right? I can agree that, for instance, if I put my hand on a
It's
stove,
a, it's a
right?
part of it. I mean,
Okay,
it's a
well,
part of
what's
it.
the other part? My bad.
Okay, so essentially accountability. So let me give you a thought experiment, right?
Okay.
Let's say that you're playing baseball, let's say you're playing baseball, and then or I don't even have to use that analogy. Let's say I throw a baseball at your window. Can I say I'm not accountable for your window?
Say that one more time.
If I throw a baseball at your window, can I say that I'm not accountable for your window? This is testing the principle of accountability.
No. I'm granting that not only are you accountable in that situation, but if you have sex and then get pregnant or become impregnated in the process, you are then therefore responsible. I agree
Okay,
with that.
so
I'm
what's your
granting that.
argument? So what's your argument?
My argument is an argument of refutation via counter case, right? I think you can be accountable for something without then necessarily drawing a moral inference. So, for instance, right, I can say I'm accountable for the fact that if I put my hand on an oven, it's going to burn my hand. But then that does not then therefore mean that putting my hand on an oven is morally wrong, right? Or I'm accountable for if I leave the trash in the bathroom, right? The trash in the bathroom is going to remain there as a consequence of my action. That does not then therefore mean that it's wrong. So I'm basically presenting to you what's called Hume's guillotine in philosophy. You are giving me a description and then inferring from it some sort of prescription. So I need to bridge from that description some prescription. So I need a
Okay,
prescriptive
hold
argument.
on. Okay, so essentially, I mean, there's nothing like, yeah, sure, you are accountable for that action, but there isn't like, there isn't an immoral action being taken place, right? Leaving trash in the bathroom isn't like you're misunderstanding what it means for like a moral action to happen, right? Killing somebody, right,
Yeah.
is an immoral action, right? Like let's not approach it in the framework of abortion. We could agree that
Hmm.
killing a person is a person with personhood is an immoral action, right? So the act of doing that is immoral, and not in all situations, right? But when you're accountable for that
Hmm.
person, you kill them. That's what the action of killing them is immoral. Leaving, like burning your hand, that's not immoral. There's no immoral action there.
Right. So, what's the argument for this particular thing being a moral issue? That's my argument, or rather, my question.
Wait, what?
I'm asking why abortion is necessarily a moral issue. Why is it not the same thing as, for instance, putting my trash bag in the bathroom?
I mean, because putting your trash bag in the bathroom isn't killing a person. I mean,
Why is killing necessarily a moral issue?
okay, so you're contesting that the fetus is a person, right?
No, 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 no. I'll grant that it's a person.
And what's the contention here? It's valuable. You're accountable for it. It's the action's immoral. I know what.
I don't think personhood for one is necessarily valuable, and I don't think killing is necessarily disvaluable.
I
Right?
think you mean human. I mean, the fetus is a human. I don't grant value based on humanity. I
No,
think
I mean
you mean that being
personhood. I don't care about personhood. That's not the thing that matters to me.
okay. Wait, then why can't I kill you? Why do laws exist? Why can't I kill you?
Well, laws exist is a different question, right? That's a legal question, a political question. But if
No,
you're asking
hold up.
why
No,
you can't
laws
kill
stem from
me,
ethics. Laws stem from ethics. You have no idea what you're talking about. You just want to seem smart. Laws stem from
wait,
ethics.
hold on, one second,
Why
one
can't
second,
I
one
kill
second.
you?
Whoa, 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 hold on. I'm gonna explain what I was saying, and then you can respond. I'm saying that if you want to know my moral reasoning for I'm not then therefore killable, right? That's a question that I can answer individually. The answer to that specifically is because A, I'm sentient, B, I'm innocent, and C, I'm not infringing on anyone's bodily autonomy. Presumably, it's not the case that my existence necessitates the discomfort or psychological abuse or the bodily equipment of someone else, right?
Okay, so this is tying into autonomy. So let's address the thing. So you believe once you have sentience, you're valuable, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, so person under anesthesia is not sentient. It can't subjectively perceive itself.
yeah, I don't care about that. I'm fine with that. I bite that bullet.
So you're fine with people dying in it. You're fine with people being killed in anesthesia.
Yeah. Ceteris paribus, all things held equal? Yeah.
That's a performative contradiction. And essentially, you're contradicting
How?
the fundamental principles that allow you to engage in argumentation. It's called argumentation ethics.
So
So you
hold
don't
on a
make like
second.
dumbass prescriptions like that.
So you said there's a contradiction, right?
A performative contradiction. It's part of argumentation ethics. So when you like
Right,
step into an
right.
argument,
No, I know what you're
you like
saying. But I'm saying you're saying there's a contradiction, right? Can you spell it out? Can you write the statement of my performance that's in contradiction to an underlying principle? So can you do it in this
okay.
format?
So no, you clearly haven't read argumentation ethics. So wait, P negative P. Okay, so
P
all
and
right,
not P.
so
So
P.
in propositional logic, what that means is a statement and its negation. So I need you to say why I have some principle, the statement, and then why I have a negation via my performance being a negation of that principle.
Okay, so when you're entering, I'm explaining. So when you're entering an argument, right, you're
Mm-hmm.
presupposing, or you're essentially like you are alive when you enter an argument, correct?
Okay.
So a reason why you're alive is because society functions, correct?
Okay.
And society functions because we derive ethics from morals, and we have like okay, well, let me figure out the best way. So society functions, right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
can't kill people in anesthesia. A society without any without an ethical system is no society. So because we have a logical ethical system, our society functions, correct?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if you heard me. I said I agree.
Okay. Killing someone in anesthesia is not a logical ethical prescription. Therefore, okay, hold on, I went too fast. So
Uh
you
huh.
need an ethical prescription is P, and negative P is you're making an like a bad ethical prescription. So yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. So your argument is, or rather, the stated contradiction or the observed contradiction is one, that I subscribe to ethics, but then I'm too in violation of ethics via my belief.
No,
Is that
no,
what you're
no, no.
saying?
Hold up. No, in order to engage in argue, have you like read any form of argumentation ethics? Do you know who Hop is?
No. Who?
In order to engage in argumentation, you have to accept a set number of principles, right, that
Mm-hmm.
allow you to engage in argumentation. One of them is not being able to be like killed in anesthesia, because if that happened, you wouldn't be able to argue in the first place. And like that has even greater ethical implication, because if a society actually allows that, then they have no ethical standard, which is the end of the
Mm-hmm.
society. So because a society functions, you can have this conversation. So you're saying because a society functions, I can have this conversation,
Uh-huh.
but I want a society to die at the same time. Like it's a performative contradiction.
So you're saying the performative contradiction is that I need to be alive to debate, but I'm rejecting life. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, you're rejecting life while being alive, essentially.
Do you
Like you
kill
can't
animals?
afford that. What?
Do you like to eat meat? Do you eat hamburgers?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I eat like chicken because chickens aren't
So you're in a
rational.
performative contradiction. Okay, so then it's not
Okay,
about
no,
just life, it's about rational life, right? So you just conceded your premise.
yeah, it's about rational. It's about a rational hylomorphic substance. Yes.
So hold on a second. So you moved from saying it was about life and admitted to your performative contradiction to
I
saying
never
it's about
said it was
rational
about
life.
life.
Wait, I
I
thought you
literally
said
said
you have to be alive to debate, and that by me rejecting the life of the fetus, I'm therefore in a performative contradiction. Is that not what you said? Or am I wrong?
no, I didn't say you rejecting the life of the fetus. I said you rejected life as a whole, right?
How do I reject life as a
That's
whole?
yeah. You rejected the concept of like human life existing on this planet, right?
I think
Is
that.
not abortion, just fetal life not existing. They're different things. It's not a performative contradiction because that doesn't prevent you from making an assertion in any capacity.
Wait, hold on. So you killing isn't a performative contradiction, but me saying that something should be killed is a performative contradiction. I guess I'm just
No, I'm
not seeing
not
the
saying
symmetry
abortion is
breaker.
a performative contradiction. I'm saying the society should end is a performative contradiction.
Wait, I never
And
said society should end.
your line of logic is ontologically reductible to that assertion.
Wait, how? What's the argument for that?
I literally just explained that, dude. Like,
Wait, so you're saying that me saying the killing of the fetus is okay is then
ignore
therefore
the fetus.
reducible.
Ignore the fetus. The fetus has no ethical implications here.
So just killing, just killing, just killing, right?
I'm talking about you making the assertion that
Uh huh.
that we can kill people in anesthesia.
Wait, hold on a second. It seems like you changed what you're saying, but we'll get back to
No,
that in
I
a second.
you're
Okay,
saying you
hold
don't
on a
have to
second.
enter
Hold on a
to
second.
understand it. The problem with
Okay,
that.
hold on a second. Wait, hold on. You think someone on anesthesia is the same, is even more sentient than some animal that's fully cognizant of what's happening?
It's not more sentient. When yeah, no, it's less sentient.
An animal is less sentient than someone in a coma, for instance.
No, 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 yeah, no. Coma is less sentient. The person in the coma is less sentient.
So, do you think if I say, for instance, killing someone in a coma is allowable, does that still entail the same thing? Because that's more so what I'm getting at.
Well, my ethical framework does not allow my
Because
logic to
if
be reduced
my bad,
absurdity.
because if you meant by anesthesia, you just mean you go to the dentist and they're therefore allowed to kill you when you're at the dentist. That's not what I meant. I thought you meant something along the lines of a comatose victim.
That's your ethical framework, not mine. You don't understand how argumentation works, right? I never made such prescription.
Wait,
Uh,
I'm
I've already,
asking, right? I'm just going through and just presenting to you basic Tolminian argumentation, which I don't think you understand actually. So I'm just going to go back to what I was asking. Wait, hold on a second. You're interrupting.
your
That's
ethical
not helping the
framework is
dialectic. Hold on a second.
performative
I'm
contradiction.
asking you a simple question. So you are talking at innocent. Do you mean someone going to the dentist? Is that what you mean?
I mean, person who's under anesthesia. What's the
Like
complex
someone
with this?
going to the dentist and being put under anesthesia, just being asleep, right?
What? I mean, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't really care.
Okay. Obviously, I don't mean that in that case. I thought you meant someone who was like comatose or something. Because my original contention was someone who wasn't alive, or someone who is alive isn't necessarily morally valuable. right? Going,
I never
well, hold on a
said that
second.
a
Wait, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. I said that's what I said. I said someone who is morally alive isn't necessarily valuable, which you agree with, by the way, but I'll get back to that, right? So you presented a counter case, or at least an attempt at one, by saying, well, what about people put under anesthesia? Are you then therefore telling me that someone who's on anesthesia isn't sentient? So if I stab you while you're at the dentist, you think you won't feel it?
Okay, so here's the thing. You're conflating how ethical frameworks work. Your ethical framework allows you to stab an anesthesia. I value the substance. I
I'm
value the
asking if
highly
that's
moral.
what you think. I'm asking if that's what you think. Is that not what you think, or no?
No, you can't stab people under
No,
anesthesia. That
no,
goes
no, no.
against.
That's not what I asked. That's what I asked. I asked, do you think if you're on anesthesia and I cut off your leg, you won't feel it?
Yeah, you won't feel anything, but pain has no relevance here. I don't understand
Wait,
this
hold on
contention.
a second. So you think you won't feel anything if I cut off your leg while you're on anesthesia?
Yeah, that doesn't make it morally okay. I don't
Wait,
understand your
I'm just
ethic.
asking. Wait, hold on a second. I'm just asking. So what's the proof for that particular claim?
What's the?
Because when I
I
go to the
mean,
dentist and I get dental work done, I can feel them poking instruments into my mouth even while I'm on anesthesia. I can still feel it. Not very
on
much, but
the
minimally.
on
Right?
propofol, you don't even feel anything. Like
Say that again.
propofol, like it basically numbs your cerebral cortex. It's an anesthesia drug,
To the
so
point that
like
you
no.
couldn't feel your leg being cut off? What's the proof for that claim?
Yeah, have you had a surgery? Like
I
what
haven't
is
had a
it? In
surgery.
propofol?
I'm not like physically weak. I don't need surgery. I'm like not 30 or whatever. I don't know how old you are, but I don't need surgery. So I'll get back to what I was
Right.
asking. What's the proof that this kind of anesthesia even allows you to stop feeling pain, for one, and not have any sort of subjective experience whatsoever?
The proof is in the study by Mayo Clinic by subjective experience is very rare in
Mayo
anesthesia.
Clinic? Mayo Clinic's an organization. What study did they release? What's here? Link it.
Well, actually, yeah, I have another contention. In sleep, you actually can't have subjective experience. By the
What's
NPR, in
dreaming?
the first, huh?
Is dreaming not subjective experience?
You don't dream while you're under anesthesia.
Wait, you just said a second ago you don't dream when you, or rather, you don't have
No,
subjective
no,
experience when you
no, you
sleep.
don't dream. I have a source from the CDC or like, oh,
Uh
I
huh.
don't know the exact source. It's either the
Right.
CDC or the NPR that says you can't dream in the first 10 minutes of sleep. And sleep, you're unconscious, and consciousness is a precondition for subjective experience, so you don't have subjective experience.
So wait, I just need an argument to hear that anesthesia entails the deprivation of complete consciousness, or basically, why does anesthesia get rid of subjectivity? Can you provide that
Now we're
link?
talking about sleeping, right? Sleeping. P1. CDC says that like CDC or NPR says that you do not dream for the first 10 minutes while you're asleep. And CDC or NPR P2, you can Google this. It's like probably on Google somewhere. CDC NPR P2, you you need consciousness. Consciousness is a precondition for subjective experience. P3, you don't have subjective experience for the first 10 minutes while you're sleeping. And the conclusion is that you don't have value while you're sleeping.
Wait, hold on a second. One, none of the links that you've just mentioned, even if we grant what you just said, actually prove that they therefore lose sentience. I need some reason to believe that anesthesia gets rid of sentience. Do you have a single article that says that?
We're talking about sleep. I
Okay, hold
literally
on a
sourced.
second. Wait, pause for 1 second. What I said at the beginning was that I care about three things, right? I said one, sentience, two, innocence, and three, your ability to exist physically independently of other people or not at the detriment of other people's bodily autonomy. So, obviously, right, we're calling into question number one. I think we grant two because presumably you are okay with wars and stuff, or you're okay with self defense. That's fine, that's trivially true. But number one is what we're disputing, right? I said I don't care
Yeah.
about life, I care about sentience. So your ability here to refute that particular value or to show some sort of absurdity is to now then therefore show there's a case where we can have someone who's non-sentient but valuable, and you're using anesthesia people, but people on anesthesia are still sentient. They're not non-sentient now, right?
Okay. I'm using sleep now, right? I literally sourced sleeping. I can find the
Can you
study if
link
you
it?
want, but yeah,
Yeah.
sure. It might take like 5 minutes because I don't exactly have the
Yeah,
link
no,
now.
take your time, dude. It's good. Like I said, I'm not like I'm not trying to like bully you or whatever. I don't really care about that stuff. It's not really my thing. It's got to be an article that just says that like anesthesia or something like remove sentience. And if you can find that, then we can just move on to my third thing, and I'll drop that first one and say you're correct.
Hold up.
Yeah, but how are you doing today? Are you doing well?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the source.
That's all good. Do, 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 do. Yeah, for anyone who's watching, by the way, I just want to restate one more time that I have three things that I personally care about, just for future reference. If you guys care at all about my ethical system, I care about one, sentience; two, innocence from any sort of moral misconduct; and then three, your ability to be autonomously independent, or that's to say, not depending on the infringement of someone else's autonomy or freedom or basically consent. Yeah, I looked up anesthesia leads to no sentience, and I just can't really find anything. I don't. Are you having an easy time finding that?
Yeah,
I can't find it
I found it like a bit ago, but I don't exactly remember where it is. What I typed.
because I agree that like you'll be unconscious in the sense that you'll be like asleep or whatever, but I don't agree that you'll be non-sentient. From what I understand, that's not something you lose unless you lose crucial neurological structure or crucial neurological phenomena. And those are the things that seemingly lead to a loss of sentience. But I don't think that happens under anesthesia, from what I understand. But I could totally be wrong.
Yeah, I can't find the source, but this isn't like a real debate. Like I actually found the source before.
I mean, like, obviously, you don't have to like find it immediately or anything. But if you can just like, I mean, did you check Google Scholar? Presumably, you did, right?
No. Okay, yeah. I have a source. I have another source by Gothamist.
Uh huh.
At Gothamist.com, I'm gonna link it. Essentially says you should not be dreaming in a 20-minute nap, which essentially proves that you don't exactly dream when you immediately go to sleep.
Oh no, I'm willing to grant that. I'll grant that for the sake of argument and for the sake of simplicity. I was saying that what I'm not convinced of ultimately, and I think this is the important thing since you're disputing my particular value, right? What I'm not convinced of is the idea that anesthesia or any sort of medical equipment that we normally use for like surgeries and stuff will lead to people being non sentient unless it's a form of brain surgery.
Yeah, they are sentient in anesthesia, sure, but not during sleep. And I have a source that cites that.
It says so. Where in the source does it say that if people are asleep, they're not sentient?
It essentially says that you shouldn't be dreaming during a 20-minute nap.
Sentience. Are you familiar with like the idea of sentience? Like, have you read the Cambridge
Yeah,
Declaration of Consciousness or no?
it's being able to subjectively perceive yourself, and that happens while you're dreaming during sleep. If you don't dream in the first 20 minutes,
Close. So that's close, but sentience is more broadly just having or possessing subjective experience. So this is according to Oxford. This is according to the Cambridge Declaration of Independence. This is what we traditionally mean in the philosophy of mind. So I'm getting at is more so what we're saying. It's not necessarily about a recognition of self. That's usually more so a feature of sapience or a factor or feature of self awareness. Sentience is more so just about having like feelings and sensations, what we call in philosophy of mind qualia. So like if a fly touches you when you're asleep, you'll feel it, right? Even if you're asleep, if you're under anesthesia, you'll still feel certain things. You'll still have particular mental faculties that will then
that's
register
dependent on
particular
external
things.
causality, right? It's dependent on external causality that can be manipulated. And if you don't
Mm-hmm.
dream during the first 20 minutes, if you don't dream during the first 20 minutes of sleep, and your entire ability of subjective experience is dependent on external causality, we can create those situations where no external causality exists, and you just instantly die when you're like in the first 20 minutes of sleep, right? And that's bad faith. So
Well, there are certain situations where we will have people who are non sentient who I don't think necessarily need to be morally protected for the sake of them, but for the sake of people around them and the faculties of other people around them. And that's why I was saying, I thought you were talking about comatose people because that's more directly what we're getting at. When we're talking about comatose people, we mean people who don't really have any sort of neurological activity, who don't actually experience sensation. As far as we can tell, they're, as the connotative statement goes, just a vegetable. And when you're a vegetable and you seem non sentient, we grant that you're non sentient. And that's a case where, if, for instance, the hospital doesn't have the resources to continue sustaining this quote unquote vegetable, I don't think they're morally obligated to. And I don't think a family that has a vegetable family member is morally obligated to then, therefore, sustain that family member for years on decades,
I agree.
in spite of the. Okay, so then you agree with the sentience thing, at least from this perspective. So I think.
Yeah,
Okay, so then that might have just been a miscommunication. So I guess what we're going to disagree about is just bodily autonomy. So I'll explain what I think, or if you want, you can ask your question first, and then
well, we
I'll
don't.
just dialogue.
You concede the first premise that it's bad faith, right?
What's bad faith?
The ability of the sentience, the actualization of sentience, because I have a source that it doesn't happen during sleep. Some of it.
I don't see in this source where it says that you're non sentient when you're sleeping. I still can't
Uh,
find that.
it says
In
it
fact, when I
says
look up sentience and sentient as two keywords on this article, neither term is mentioned. So I don't know how you would have arrived at that conclusion.
okay, so essentially, the argument you make, right, is that you have subjective experience during sleep because you dream, correct?
Come again?
So you have subjective experience during sleep because you dream. That's the argument you're making, right?
No. It's the other way around, right? Dreaming is just one indicator of the fact that you have subjective experience when you're sleeping. I mean, there are plenty of other indicators. Like, for instance, if I'm sleeping and someone's really loud outside, my sensory perception will allow me to perceive, which is subjective experience, to perceive that loud noise and cause me to wake up. or whenever people are yelling, or people touch my leg, or if like a spider crawls on me. I feel those things, and that will then have some sort of physical consequence, which will be either me waking up, me touching my leg, or something along those lines. So in all of those cases, even when I'm asleep, I still have sensation, which is what I mean by sentience. If that's not what you mean, I'll just clarify what I mean. All I mean by sentience is having subjective experience or sensation.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hold up. I get it. Okay. So two one thing,
Uh huh.
dreaming, and two things, external causality. Correct.
Come again?
So you have sentience and subjective experience, the same thing during sleep because one, external causality, and two, dreaming. Correct.
Sure. Well, no. You have sentience because of other things, right? There are plenty of reasons that go into. Well, sentience in philosophy of mind is kind of an arguable thing. I have kind of a controversial view on that, but you don't have sentience because you're dreaming. It's the other way around, right? Dreaming is a type of imaginary experience, or in short, a subjective experience that comes as a byproduct of sentiental framework or structure, or whatever you want to say it as.
Yeah, sure, but you can't sufficiently prove that that exists in the first 20 minutes of sleep if we don't dream during the first 20 minutes of sleep. Why do we not dream during the first 20 minutes of sleep if we have the capacities of doing so?
Yeah, I'm saying that there are plenty of indicators. I use dreaming as one, but there are other indicators, like the ones I just presented. When I'm
External
sleeping,
causality.
what's up?
Are you using external causality? I mean, I can debunk that. They're external. They're dependent on situations. If conditions are set right, if I
Uh,
take you to a pure white quiet room, well, there's no way you're gonna wake up, and while you're sleeping, I'm just somehow like inject or give you this pill that instantly kills you, and you don't wake up at all. Then that's
huh.
completely okay in your framework.
No, because I was sentient before that. What you do to me after that morally
Before,
depends on
okay,
a couple of things. Yeah.
okay, before that's great. That's a completely new thing. Okay, so what's the value of something? What's the value
Wait,
of something
hold on
that?
a second. I feel like you just misunderstood what I was saying, and I just want to clarify. I said sentience matters. How is killing a sentient person a defeater of sentience?
Hmm?
How is killing someone who is sentient a way to disprove the inherent value that I ascribe to sentience?
It's not a person. I hold
Exactly.
on. I keep repeating your premise. I've refuted like portions of it. What gives a person value in a white room in the 10 minutes of after he's fallen asleep? Can't is not awake. Can't
You're
perceive.
assuming
What's the
that when
value?
he's asleep, he's non sentient, but I'm saying that he's still sentient. When I'm asleep, can I not hear a loud noise and wake up?
Yeah. Okay. But in the yeah. So yeah. But if you're not gonna hear a loud noise, then you're not sentient.
Wait, but I have the ability to, right? Sentience is about ability, not what's actually happening.
Okay. The ability to be sentient, correct?
It's just about sentience is an ability. It's the ability or the possession of subjective experience. I've said that from the outset.
Okay, okay. So in anesthesia, even if you wanted to, the ability doesn't exist. You can't call upon sentience. Or no, hold on, no, never mind. No, in sleep, you can't call upon sentience either. Again, the ability is dependent on external factors.
Wait, so if I'm
What's the
asleep,
value? What's the value of an ability that you cannot use?
well, you can't use it when you're dead or non sentient, but when you're asleep, you're still sentient, from what I understand. I mean, let me just ask
No,
you again.
the
If you're
ability of sentience.
sleeping, wait, hold on. If you're sleeping and I stab you in the leg, do you think you're not going to feel it?
You know, there are other ways to kill people than stabbing them in the
No,
leg,
I'm not.
man.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm just asking if you're asleep and
You'll
I
feel it. You'll
play a
feel it.
tuba. Yeah, exactly. And that's my thing. You're still sentient. Or if you're asleep, you can dream, you can feel pain, you can feel things touching you, you can hear, you can smell, you can taste. Like when you are sleeping, you might be able to taste certain things while you're dreaming, right? You can see
Okay, so
things. These are all. Go ahead.
understand that your ability of sentience is dependent on external factors. It is, right?
What does that mean?
Your ability to have sentience is dependent on external factors, correct?
By depending on external factors, I take it that you mean that it depends on conditions, right? Like just
Yeah.
some set of. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so if those conditions don't exist, what is giving the person value?
That's the point. When someone's dead, I don't think they're valuable.
So a person who's in sleep, right? Or who can't sleep, and with no external causality, cannot be sentient, right? If no noise is being made, and if they don't die in a way of like them waking up, then there's like no way they're waking up. There's no way they're having sentience.
Wait, so you think when you fall asleep, if it's quiet outside, you're like you no longer have sentience? Is that what you think?
Okay, let's make up a hypothetical where I take you to
Okay.
this room that's very concentrated, where there's no way you can ever wake up
Uh-huh.
with no way you can like unnaturally wake up. And in the first 10 minutes of sleep, when you're not having sentience, according to the source, there's no way you can wake up. Can I kill you in a way that doesn't wake you up?
Can you kill me in a way that doesn't wake me up? Was I sentient beforehand?
Yes.
Of course not.
Okay, so why does sentience in the past matter?
Wait, that was just my answer, right? I was sentient when you tried to kill me. So, of
No.
course. Wait, yes.
Okay, why does sentience in the past matter? Why does it matter?
Are you talking about before with respect to killing? Because I'm saying that when you've killed me, at that point, I no longer have moral value, right? But when I'm still alive and sentient, of course I matter. So when you kill me while I'm sentient, that's bad. So you
Okay,
actually haven't
so
produced a reductio on my view, or at least a successful one.
trying to like you keep like flip flopping between points. Why can't I kill you in that hypothetical I described?
I just said it because I'm sentient when you try to kill me, and then moving thereafter, once I'm dead, you already killed me.
That's a contradiction because you previously agreed and established that
Uh
your
huh.
thing depends on external conditions. If those conditions don't exist, then what's giving you value?
Wait, by external conditions, I wasn't very clear on what exactly you meant. I said from the beginning, the external condition.
Elaborate.
Hold on for a
I
second.
know.
I said the. Hold on a
Okay.
second. I said the external condition was, for instance, neurological structure, neurological phenomena. These are the
That's
kinds
not
of things that we're worried about.
external, and this source proves that there's no neurological makeup that allows you to have
Well,
sentience.
you don't think you have a brain when you're asleep?
Brain doesn't equal sentience.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm asking, do you think you don't have a brain when you're asleep? Yes or no?
You have a brain, sure, but that's not
Okay, then here's the
sentience.
second thing. I also said neurological phenomena. Do you think you no longer have brain activity when you sleep?
You have brain activity, and what's the
Okay,
point?
right? Then there's my
Yeah,
point. Someone
that's
who's
not sentience.
comatose might be an interesting thing. Saying when you're asleep, when you have brain activity, implies sentience, which is to say that you're trying to produce a reductio by addressing something that's just descriptively untrue. Like I don't know what to say here.
Okay, brain activity does not equal sentience in any capacity, right? Sentience is ability to have subjective experience.
Right.
Experience is not reductive to brain activity.
What's
That's
the
the only
argument for
thing. Like,
that?
let's say that like a monkey, right? A monkey has brain activity, right? But studies show that monkeys cannot like subjectively perceive.
What's the proof for that? I actually the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness claims that they are A conscious and B sentient. So I actually believe the opposite. What study do you have that says that monkeys aren't sentient?
Yeah, it was in this debate with Leah and Jonah. Like, can you just like take my word for it? Because I don't really feel like searching again.
I'm gonna
I
here
know
I'll
it
Google
exists.
it for you. Yeah, I'll Google it. Monkeys are not sentient. Let's see. So Wikipedia comes up. We're not going to use that unless you want to. Here's what the science says about animal sentience. Let's see what it says. And then the third one, I'm not even going to use that one because that one's not going to help you. It says after 2,500 studies, it's time to declare animal sentience proven. So we'll go to the second one and see what it says. Maybe it'll help you. There seems to be significant confusion about what happened in the British Parliament, blah, 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 blah. The definition of sentient is simply able to perceive or feel things. Let's keep going. Researchers analyzed the goats and they were expecting flu, blah, 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 blah. Researchers in France. Okay. Yeah, so the conclusion of this article is based on studies that this person read. The reason that all these studies and the many others into animal emotions, personality, and ability to feel pain, fear, and stress are important is the huge implications for animal welfare. Whether or not the law recognizes animals as being sentient, those animals will still feel afraid, which is a type of sentience, fail to cope, a type of sentience, or suffer pain during transport and slaughter, as well as in everyday situations, a type of sentience. So basically, the articles I just looked at all just said that animals are sentient. And the second article that was displayed said that there were 2,500 studies that ultimately came to the conclusion that animals are sentient. And then I also put forward the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness, right? So I have 3 citations for animals actually being sentient, especially monkeys, especially mammalian creatures. What contrary evidence do you have?
Hold on.
Take your time.
Yeah, people in I have a source by Merck Manuals that people in vegetative states have brain activity by this source.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so you're no longer arguing that animals are in fact sentient, right?
Yeah,
Or
I'm arguing that people who are comatose or in vegetative states are sentient.
all right, then obviously we can get to the third part of what I was saying, but just to clarify real quick, do you drop the claim that animals are non-sentient?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So let's just grant this. I don't really care to read it. I'm just going to grant it. So presumably we're going to talk about a comatose victim who is A, innocent, and B, sentient, right? Due to brain activity,
Yes.
yeah? Okay, so the third
Yes.
thing I said was the nature of their infringement, right? So if someone doesn't consent to take care of them, do you think people have an obligation to take care of this comatose victim?
What does that have to do with anything? They don't have brain function. I don't get it. What?
Wait, no. My point is, let's grant that this person is A, sentient, and then B, innocent of any sort of major moral misconduct, right? So if you're attacking my moral system and you're trying to produce a reductio, now you need to explain to me the nature of the situation. Because if there's some hospital that is fully self automated and actually takes care of people automatically, right? No one is losing their consent in the process of this comatose victim being taken care of. So if I go into a futuristic hospital that can easily take care of this person, and it's just a machine fully capable with zero consent removal from anyone else, right? Say it's a hospital in the middle of nowhere in the middle of Kansas, right? It is wrong for me in that particular situation to kill a comatose victim. But in a situation where someone has to pay tens of thousands of dollars in order for this comatose victim to live, I think in
Ethical
that
criteria.
case it's ethically okay.
Don't meet your ethical criteria. They don't have sentience.
No, I'm saying that if we're gonna just grant that they have brain activity, right? Then that will, for at least the sake of this debate, equate to sentience, and then therefore meet the first 2 criteria, assuming that they're morally innocent.
Hold up, sentience? Wait, hold up. They don't have sentience. They lost their capacity for sentience when they entered a vegetative state.
Right, but you said, okay, 2 things. You said as a contrary response, or at least I took it to be a contrary response, that these are supposed to be sentient on my definition based upon the fact of their brain activity. And I'm simply saying, yeah, let's say that. Let's grant it for the sake of argument. How does that defeat my third system? Or my third feature of my system?
Because they don't meet your ethical criteria. Why are they valuable?
They're valuable in particular instances. They're not just necessarily valuable. So I gave a counter instance, right? If
Are they
a
valuable?
hold on a second. If a comatose victim could only survive if people have to be
Why
brutally
are they
murdered. Hold on, one second. Hold on. If a comatose victim can only survive if people have to be brutally raped and murdered in order for them to survive, I'm not going to be like, yeah, let them live. Would you agree with that?
Sure. Wait, why do they have value at all? Answer that question. Why do they have value at all?
I don't think they necessarily have value. I think you have to have all 3 of those features to have value. I think they have conditional value, though.
What is the contention? They don't have value.
No.
They have
I,
brain.
I think I think you're misunderstanding. I'm saying they don't have inherent value, right? I think those 3 things to me equate to inherent moral value, but the first 2 things are close, but no cigar. I'm saying that they are conditionally valuable. There are certain instances, like the instances where they meet my third criterion, where they are valuable. But if they do not meet it, then they are therefore not valuable. So basically, I'm saying they're valuable when they meet my standards, and they're valuable when they're not, which is just the case. That's just a priori true.
Okay, so what case do the person in the comatose patient need?
In order to be valuable,
And what characteristics does a comatose patient have?
we're granting sentience and moral innocence. And I'm saying that the thing they need in order for me to consider them then therefore valuable is to not depend on anyone else to exist. In the sense of their
Okay, so
survival comes at the
so you
consequence of someone else's consent.
you concede the first premise, right?
How did I concede the first premise?
Okay, yeah, sure. I have to go now. It's getting kind of late for me, anyways.
Well, you don't want to debate anymore? Or do you want to debate another time?
Not really. I mean, I kind of you didn't even bring up any identity theory contentions. Like this just took a while because I had to source stuff.
Well,
Like
do
I've
you,
debated
by
people.
identity theory, do you mean like identity theory on materialism? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like
Type identity theory?
materialism
How is
or
that morally
soul.
relevant? I don't get how that's relevant.
It's predicating potential and stuff.
I mean, two things. For one, there's a problem on identity theory in general where you seem to think that synthetic neurons aren't capable, right? So, what's the proof that there are no such thing as synthetic neurons? Why are those logically impossible?
I mean, I don't subscribe to whatever you think I'm subscribing to. I'm
You
a
just said you
holomorphic.
agreed to identity theory on materialism, correct?
I mean, all forms of dualism, or no, not materialism. I'm a dualist.
Wait, okay, so you're not a type identity theory materialist, you're a dualist. So you believe in non physical consciousness?
Yes.
What's your argument for a non physical consciousness?
P1, materialism can explain distinctions. P2, external force must explain distinctions because distinctions exist.
Mm
Third reason, the external force must be imperceivable.
hmm. Mm hmm.
Conclusion, souls explain distinctions.
Okay, so two.
And
Okay, wait, are you done? I don't want to cut you off, my bad.
yeah, that's basically it. Souls explain distinctions,
Okay,
and like a fetus is a like a this soul.
so two things. One, just to clarify, you think that souls or the mind is causally inefficacious. You believe that?
What?
You believe that the mind is causally inefficacious. You think it has no binding force. You think if I think I should go outside, that has no impact on what my body does.
Yeah, I think the soul. The holomorphic theory states how the soul and mind work together. So, like, nothing, no physical object can just exist, and no soul can just exist. They both have to exist together because they're necessary for distinction. So,
So,
if my soul says I want to go
mhm.
outside, then yeah, my body kind of is the soul. They're like halves of a whole.
So just real quick. So, are you of a Cartesian belief or a Leibnizian belief? Do you believe that they interact, or do you believe they do not interact?
I mean, the hylomorphic theory is that they're parts of a whole. So yeah, they do interact. They're like this the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then there's a thing called the interaction problem that poses an issue, right? So, presumably, you define a soul or a mind as non-physical or non-material, right?
Yeah.
So, how are material things being materially impacted by the immaterial? That's a contradiction.
I mean, that's like. I mean, that's. I mean, they exist. Wait, what's the argument?
Premise one: if a mind is immaterial, then it cannot materially impact the body. Premise two: the mind is immaterial. Conclusion: the mind can then therefore not materially impact the body.
Uh, the mind, the soul exists with the body. It's immaterial. I don't see why it can't. I mean,
It's a
it exists with
contradiction.
it.
So what do you so okay, when you're saying something is material, right? And then you're saying something else is immaterial. By immaterial you mean not material, right?
Yes.
So how is it acting materially? So how do beliefs play a role in behavior?
I mean, I don't, that's the theory, anyways. It's more plausible than just distinctions existing, I guess.
Well, I'm just asking real quick because this is a contradiction, right? This would render your belief logically impossible unless you can explain it away.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, the theory is that they can explain, right? I mean, if you're asking me why, then
Mm-hmm.
I can't justify that. But I think if we can intuitively assert that if we like, it's better to know why the soul can't materially impact us than to make the assertion that we can't explain distinction.
We'll get to that in a second, but just really fast, I'm failing to see how something that's immaterial can act materially. Isn't the whole
Yeah,
definition
it
of
can.
it? Wait, hold on. If it's immaterial, right, that means it lacks
Yeah,
material relation. How is it engaging in material relation?
yeah, I mean, yeah, we can't explain that. I concede, but you concede that
Uh
it's
huh.
a better theory than just explaining that to just making the assertion that we can't explain distinctions.
Oh, I'm not even a materialist, but I would take contention with whether or not it's even the case that materialists can't explain distinctions. If you mean type identity materialists, they're juxtaposed with people who are functional materialists, which I assume that's kind of what you're getting at. But if we're talking about functionalism on materialism, functionalism works by we draw distinctions by arbitrarily deciding particular distinctions. And then if we're talking about natural differences versus functional differences, they reject those, but type identity theorists actually believe in natural differences, right? But I think in general, both of those kind of fail on some level, which is why I'm not really a materialist. I'm actually just a dualist, but I don't believe in interaction between the mind and the body. I think they're actually they're completely and ontologically distinct. I don't think they interact at all.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold up. So, what do you think? What do you think? Why do you think the table is different than a chair?
Why do I think the table is different than a chair? I think that's just one
Yeah.
of those cases of us drawing an arbitrary distinction. But if we're talking about like atomic elements, like gold versus silver, I think that if we draw a category, there will be fundamental differences every time. But a chair versus a table, I don't think there will be fundamental differences every time because I can sit on a
You would
table and I can eat off of
you
a
would have,
chair.
you would have to prove a fundamental difference between a gold and silver.
Yeah, there is the amount of protons.
Protons. Protons. What are protons made out of? Why aren't all protons the same?
Wait, hold on a second. I just said the number of protons. Like, do you think that gold and silver have the same number of protons?
Yeah, no, they have different protons. Yeah, but like, why does
Yeah.
protons make a distinction?
Well, that's just a fundamental difference. So by fundamental, I mean in every case this will be true, right? So in every case, gold will have a different number of protons than silver, a priori.
Uh, yeah, I have to look into that. But yeah, it doesn't seem too hard to debunk, I guess.
Okay, well, I mean, if you want to look into this stuff, or you want me to send you like sources or whatever about what I was talking about, we could have another conversation at some other point. I feel like I did make good headway here, and I feel like you have to admit that I presented some types of arguments that you have to go and rethink. Is that correct?
Well, only really just the development of material, but yeah, otherwise it was a good convo, I guess.
Okay. Would you say that I won or no? Oh, he left. What the heck? Dude, he was so fucking like quick to get out of here. Aw. Yeah, was I nice in that? Can someone tell me? Is anyone watching on Twitch? Can someone tell me if I was nice during that? Yeah, it's all good. No, I got the VOD and the entire recording to be honest, so it's all good. Okay, cool. All right. I don't know. I'm gonna go see if Jade wants to stream 1v1 Dead by Daylight. We're going to see. He's been talking a lot of shit, so we're about to find out how good he really is. But yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. If anyone wants to watch that stream, just obviously, I don't know what it is. Like, just follow my Twitch channel. I don't know if it's called sub or following on there. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good one.